Hi everyone, my name is Leonie. Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be planning the books that I'm going to be reading in the upcoming weeks. You know, be intentional, go through my bookshelves, make a wish list. Also, I'm going to attempt to plan my audiobook reading, and I'm whipping out the old trusty reading bullet journal. So I really hope you're gonna enjoy this type of video. I know Emmy does videos like this and I love watching them, and every time I watch her videos I'm like, oh, I feel like motivation to be intentional with my reading and plan my reading month. And I know a few months ago I made this video of like choosing my next book to read together, and you guys really enjoyed that, so I really hope you enjoy a video like this as well. The funny thing is, well, it's not very funny. Originally my plan for today's video was to have like a video essay ready, but I am stressed, tired, I have a master's thesis deadline looming, the ceiling in the kitchen collapsed, you know, your average student struggle. So I'm not putting too much pressure on myself today, and I hope that you're not either. And we're just gonna have a chill time and enjoy the anticipation of reading new books. I'm just gonna start planning July in my bullet journal, then we're gonna take out all the unread books that are like scattered across my room in little stacks, and then we're gonna set some intentions and choose books. I'm gonna start by making a monthly spread in my bullet journal for the month of July. This is nothing special or very interesting or anything. It just feels like a good blank slate to begin with, to have a good overview of the month that is to come. And this month I thought I would leave a little extra open space for my TBR, so my to be read, so I can write down the books that I plan on reading that month, that I'm gonna figure out which books those are in this video. Tour of all the unread books around my room. Let's begin with my bookshelf. What is it about drinking through a straw that's just so much more fun, and that actually makes me drink more water? It's like the best life hack that I could have given myself, is just put a long pipe in your drink and suddenly you will no longer be dehydrated. These are the mysterious bookshelves that you rarely get to see in my videos, but yes, they do exist. They are here. We have classics, non-fiction, fantasy, miscellaneous. Here's a nice extra shelf for all my favorite books. And then also peaches, my favorite genre of books. And right behind where there's a table here, because this is also where I study. Here we have the TBR shelf, my unread books, at least a part of it. I just want to take a look at all the unread books that I have to see which options that I have, so we can make a plan. It looks like I don't really have a lot of unread books on my shelf, but that's because I have more on other places in my room. Let's just take these out for the rest of the video. Gonna need it. In here, my friends, we have my nightstand, which includes books that I am currently reading, aka books that I've started at one point and simply have not yet finished, even though I started them at least like probably over a year ago. And the stack just kind of keeps getting bigger. Usually it's only the book on top that I'm actually reading, you know, like I'm currently reading She Drives Me Crazy. I don't know where the top and the bottom is, which is a YA romance, high school romance. And I actually have almost finished this. Again, I did not put a bookmark in this. I have like a whole jar full of beautiful bookmarks, and I don't use them. I don't even use like random scraps of paper. I'm just one of those people that's like,
I'll remember the page number.
And usually I do, but it's been a few days since I've read anything, so that one's But these are all contenders. So that's the second stack of unread books in my room. And then I have a third little stack that's not usually there. It's a very special stack of books. And that's because I actually have a little stack of books over here. And actually, She Drives Me Crazy was also part of this. And this is just a stack of books that a friend lent out to me. Highly recommend friends who also like reading. Very great way to lend each other books so you have 3 books to read. You can't even see the... What's the point of vibes? You can't see the vibes. So this is actually an interesting stack of books. It's mostly just like a bunch of romance books. So we have She Drives Me Crazy, YA contemporary romance, Once and Future, which is like a YA sci-fi fantasy space thing romance. This is a Dutch book, Zomerburen, which is also a YA romance. And then we have Leah on the Offbeat, another YA coming of age romance novel. Lots of things to choose from. But then of course there's also the option to buy books this month. I can go to the library and there are many audiobooks available. So let's start making decisions on what I want to read. So we gotta make a plan and set some intentions. I keep my unread books separate from my read books because I just really like having a good overview of all the books that I haven't read yet, and otherwise I get a little bit stressed out. But I do really love the idea of, you know, the people that have their read and unread books just together. You can really like browse through your bookshelves to just see, oh, this sounds interesting. Oh, this is a book I haven't read yet. Let me take a look at that. And I can't do that, so I just put all the books that I just showed you here on the shelf next to each other to kind of give the illusion of like, oh, it's a bookstore and I'm just choosing a new book, like, ooh, maybe I want to read this. Maybe I want to read this. It's okay, I read fantasy books. I'm allowed to lie to myself. What do I feel like reading? I think this is a really fun thing to talk about because I never really think about this. I'm a huge mood reader, so usually I just pick up whatever I want, but often I do kind of run into the problem that I end up not reading books that I kind of do want to get read. I have a lot of books that I really want to read that tend to not really end up getting read because I give priority to other books, and I think by kind of standing still by what I actually want to read, you can avoid that. So currently, I'm actually in like a massive romance mood. And that is quite abnormal for me since I usually don't... Romance is not really a genre that I read very often, but I've been dipping my little toes in the romance genre and I've been feeling nothing but happiness lately. And I think those two are very much related to each other. I'm currently reading She Drives Me Crazy, and on audiobook I'm listening to The Unhoneymooners. I just finished Red, White and Royal Blue and I just want more of it. Like I'm on a kick now, on a high, on a romance high, and I wanna fuel that addiction for as long as it lasts, you know? Which is also the reason that I asked my friend to bring me some romance books. I'm really trying to think about how to give this video any kind of structure, but I can't find a way, so this is what you're gonna have to deal with. I'm sorry. As you may have seen on my spread, my July monthly spread that I made, I actually have a readathon the upcoming month. It's not like an online readathon, it's just a thing that I'm doing with like friends from university. And I feel like books like this, these kind of just like short, quick YA romances are perfect for that. So I'm just gonna keep Leah on the Offbeat and this Dutch Zomerburen book apart for that one because I think I might be able to speed through these books when I'm doing a readathon. And I think once we've done this part, we can also look at some romance books that I might put on my wish list to buy. New ones, shiny new books. But of course I don't just want to be reading romance books. I mean, maybe I do. I don't know what the future will hold, but if I feel the need to read a fantasy book, I know that I need to read The Dragon Republic by R. Huang, and I'm not gonna be buying any other fantasy books. Okay. I'm not going to be buying any other fantasy books until I have finished this one. This is the second book in the adult fantasy series, The Poppy War, which is about people who can like wield magic and they go into the military. There's a war. It's really good. I really enjoyed the first book, and I just have to tackle the second book, which has been a little bit intimidating. But if I feel the need for fantasy, I want this. But the cool thing is, if I'm feeling the need for something a little softer fantasy, not too intimidating, that's also a good romance, I'm gonna try this Once and Future, one of those books that my friend gave me. I've never heard of this. Let's look at the first sentence, shall we? Ari was hiding out in the Middle Ages. That's pretty cool, actually. She described it as a King Arthur retelling in space. Sounds cool. So I have a bunch of generally kind of like in my comfort zone books right now. I'm just very tired lately. I'm very much in the mood for just like happy, easy to read romance books, but I do kind of want to like have some book in there that's kind of like a little bit of a challenge. Just know that if I don't set the intention, the deliberate intention for myself to read certain books that take a little bit more effort, are a little bit less escapist, I will never end up reading them, even though I really want to. So I want to set the intention for myself. Okay, I'm gonna read a bunch of great romance this month, but also one book that's like a little bit more insightful, like a classic, you know? And if you've seen my last video, you know that I'm currently reading Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, which is the perfect kind of like challenging, insightful book that I really want to like sink my teeth into. But I've just really been noticing that because I'm kind of just tired and just looking for like a quick read lately, I'm not really inclined to pick up a 500-page book worth of Russian literature. Who knew? I know, very surprising. I have been able to make my way through a big Dostoevsky book before. It's like right here, The Idiot. Not me, like the book is called The Idiots. I mean, I'm a little bit of an idiot as well, but I read The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and the reason that I got through it was because I was reading it every day on the train to university. Like I had this routine, this moment where I couldn't really do anything else, so I might as well just read, and that way I was able to make my way through it. But I don't currently have that, you know, I'm not really going through university physically, and I really think I'm only going to be able to finish this book in like a time where I have the opportunity to easily read a lot. Like for example, if the weather gets sunny again, I tend to sit in the garden a lot more if I'm at my parents' house and get a lot more reading done. And that would be the perfect time to tackle this book. But I don't think right now, when I'm sitting at home and I kind of just want to take a nap all the time, is a good moment. So I'm just gonna put it on my nightstand just in case, but I don't think it's the book for this month. I have a few more classics on my shelves that I could read. I still have Jane Eyre and Pride and Prejudice, but I think the perfect book for now is this little one, actually. Cute little blue hardcover. It is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This is like a classic work of philosophy, technically. It's written by Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor, and this was basically his diary. So every day he just wrote down his meditations, like little things that he was thinking about, life lessons that he was learning, and you can read them. I think that's, at the same time, feels like a very weird infringement on privacy, but at the same time it feels really cool that you're reading something that was written by someone like thousands of years ago and the wisdom that they learned back then. As you can see, I actually started this a while ago. There's a cute little band in here, and I've already like tabbed all the small meditations that I thought were really interesting. And I think this is the perfect book for this month because it's insightful, but it's in very bite-sized pieces. Like not like a long story, it's just like these short meditations every day. It's definitely insightful and something to think about, but it's not like a struggle to read. Like you can just easily whip this book open and read over a few of his ideas. And I really like the idea of just, you know, in the morning or in the evening, just popping this open and reading a little bit about it and like ruminating on it. I'm gonna put this one to like the top of my night shelf stack so I can make my way through this. Okay, so I chose from the books that I own, but as you probably aware of, I don't really have like a really large amount of unread books, so I'm always keeping my options open and just kind of keeping in mind books that I can still buy or books that I can get at the library. So let's take a look at that now. And then after that, we're gonna go into audiobooks. One great way to read books without breaking the bank too much is to go to the library. But if you're like me and you like reading English books but you don't live in an English-speaking country, your library may often not really have the books that you're interested in, except for like a few cases. So what I started doing is actually keep a list of books that I know my library has, so that also whenever I'm interested in one of these books, I know I don't need to buy that one because it's one of the very few books that my library actually has, and I should make use of that sweet, sweet free book. But the thing is, I don't really look at this list very often, and I want to start doing that more often, you know, at the beginning of every month, just checking if there's a book that I might be interested in that the library has, so I can be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the library. So let's take a look at this. Well, no. There's not a book on this list that I'm currently interested in reading, so I guess no library for me this month. Well, I guess that means we just gonna have to take a look at which books I'm gonna maybe buy. So let's make a little list of books that I might buy for myself. I'm gonna put the light on. Cool, now it looks like a Twitch stream. Move over, let's play gaming streams. I'm streaming my organizational content. This is my Notion page. I've already showed this in previous videos, but what's important here is my TBR list. So this is just a list of books that I'm like interested in, that sound cool. It's getting longer and longer. Whenever I see someone talk about a book that I'm like, I think I really want to remember that one, I write it down here. One thing that I've noticed from the stack of books that I have right now is that there's a lot of YA romance, but no adult romance, even though I do really enjoy adult romance. I think I actually enjoy it more than YA romance because it's just a little bit more, usually the main characters are more my age. So let's see if there are any adult romances that I'm interested in. Oh yeah, Well Met. I've heard great things about it. I think it's like a romance that's set on like one of those like Renaissance fairs. It sounds really cool. Oh, caps lock. I know it's a lot more romantic to like go through your bookshelves when you're choosing which books to read, but I don't own that many books, so I'm gonna have to go through the digital bookshelves here. Ooh, From Blood and Ash. Yes. From Blood and Ash. I've heard so many things about this book, and I know that there's like a potential of me hating this book because a lot of people love it, but a lot of people also hate this very like steamy romance fantasy. But I'm really in the mood for romance right now, and I do really want to try out more fantasy romances. I might maybe give it a try. Of course, we have Act Your Age, Eve Brown, the last book in the Brown Sisters trilogy that I also still haven't read, that I should probably read. So if I go to a bookstore somewhere this month, I'm gonna allow myself to just go ham with the romance books. And then there's one other book that doesn't really fit in any of the intentions that I've set so far in this video, but that I'm just really curious about. And that is this book called The Atlas 6. I've seen this on TikTok getting super hyped. It's like this dark academia fantasy about the Library of Alexandria with like multiple POVs and this found family trope thing. And it sounds amazing. Like it sounds like it's gonna have the same vibes as The Gilded Wolves, which you guys know I love. But on Goodreads, it has like only 2,000 ratings and it's not popular at all. It's just kind of blowing up on TikTok, and I'm so curious about this book. So I'm just gonna put it on the wish list as well. Just because I put a book on a wish list doesn't mean that I am going to buy it. It just means that it's an option. So I don't know if I'm actually gonna buy and read it this month, but I'm just, the book intrigues me a lot, and if I can get my hands on it, I will.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, so for audiobooks, I'm actually currently listening to The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And what I do is usually whenever I find out about like a book that sounds interesting to me, I just look up if my audiobook app has it, and if it does, I just give it a like, and then it ends up on my little liked bookshelves, so I can just very quickly see which books I can listen to on audiobook, and I don't actually have to per se buy a physical copy of it. So I was actually looking up adult romance books for me to listen to, but they only had The Unhoneymooners, which I'm currently reading, Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I have already finished, and then A Touch of Darkness, which is like this hyped TikTok romance book that I just put in there because I'm kind of curious to see, you know, like maybe I'll like it, who knows, maybe I'll hate it, and then I have a video to make. So quite a lack of romance on my audiobook app, unfortunately. Then we have a bunch of just like sci-fi, and The Midnight Library is one that I am pretty interested in, but one that I know for sure I'm gonna be reading this month is The Girl and the Ghost book. I'm actually reading with Sabine for our book club, the World Readers Book Club. So there will be a live show on this book. I still have to finish it, but there will be a live show on it soon. So if you want to join that, join the book club. You still have like a few days to finish it. And it is like a middle grade fantasy book that is inspired by a Malaysian folktale. It sounds really interesting. So that is one that I know for sure I have to finish in like the upcoming few weeks. That was a lot of books, a lot of options that we just went through. The main thing is just gonna be I'm in the mood for romance. So I'm really excited to see what Once and Future is gonna bring me. Sci-fi Arthur retelling, and then I have some more YA fantasy that I might pick up during like the readathon because I can get through them very quickly. And then if I go to a bookstore, if I can find any of these adult romance books, I'm 100% gonna allow myself to buy them. Then I'm really gonna try my best to maybe finish. It would be really great if at the end of July I get to finish Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I've always wanted to read this. It's just one of those books that I really need to tell myself, okay, you're gonna read it this month. Like, come on, set the intention and actually motivate yourself to just read a little bit of this every week. So I'm actually really excited to read this and tab all the little wisdoms that speak to me and then talk about it at the end of the month. Putting it on the top of my nightstand right now. And then another switch from romance, a fantasy book that I definitely have to finish in like the upcoming week is The Girl and the Ghost, which I'm gonna listen to. And if I want more fantasy suddenly, I will keep the Dragon Republic in mind, just in case. And then maybe, just maybe, I might buy the Atlas 6 because I'm just so intrigued by it. And I want to know if it lives up to the hype. But it's not, you know, it's not set in stone. These are the main ones. And then there are more options.
These are the main ones. And then there are more options.
These are my main books that I currently own. There's so many options. Do I feel more organized right now? Not really. Do I feel happy about the thought of all these books that I'm gonna be trying and maybe buying and listening to? Yes, absolutely. I actually had a lot of fun making this video. Please let me know if you enjoyed it by leaving a comment or leaving a like so that I know that I should make these videos more often, maybe. I would love to know what you think of this. I think I have a wonderful month of reading ahead. I really hope you too have a wonderful month of reading ahead. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Again, I definitely don't think I'm gonna read all of these books. If you wanna see more videos, if you wanna know what I end up thinking of these books, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you soon in another one. Goodbye! Bye.